Hello everybody, it's Joe, and I just wanted to show real quickly how I took this 10-sided dice here and sliced it in half for 3D printing. The one that I had was, it had names on each one of these sides, so it was two separate things, and when I tried to 3D print it, it didn't work very well because of these overhangs right here, right there. It was too much for it to handle. I thought it might be okay. I was wrong. And it ruined the print. So I looked at it and thought, well, from this angle here, there's a perfectly straight line right here. And if I could get that line lined up properly, I could split it in half and have the top and the bottom half right here. Now I could just do a Boolean. I could line it up kind of okay and then put a cube on there and Boolean difference out the bottom and Boolean intersect and get the bottom. But I wanted to do it pixel perfect, and I had the ability to do it. So I looked at this line. This is just from the right side. And what angle is this line? Well, it's not quite 45. Let me try a 45 degree. Rotate it by negative 45. No, that's definitely not it. So here's what I'm going to do. When you hit the rotate button, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the animation panel here. When you hit the rotate button, down here it's going to tell you what angle you're rotating it. Can you see that down there? And so I'm going to keep my eye on that and see if I can figure out what angle this is exactly. So there, it's almost straight. It's almost straight. I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice, good number. 46.39, probably 46.4. I wonder if 46.5 would work. Let me give that a shot. So I right mouse click, cancel it out, rotate by negative 46.5. No, let's try it again. Rotate by negative 46.4. That looks pretty good. I think it's 46.4. Well, I don't know, I'm getting a little jiggy here, so I'll have to fix that later. Now, enter edit mode. Box select all the points on the top or on the bottom, doesn't matter. Hit P to separate and separate by selection, and now the bottom and the top are separate meshes. But there's a problem. If you look at just one of these, it's got a big hole in the bottom, and the other side does too, so we've got to fix that. So the way to do that is press Alt and right mouse click to select that whole loop. It's easy for the computer to find it because there's no sides there. And hit F to create a face there. You'll notice that it fills it in with an n-gon, and that's going to be turned to tries later, but, let the computer handle that. It's flat. It's good. Do the same thing with the bottom here. Face it on. There we go. Let's rotate this 180 degrees and get it out of the way of the top. Now, I'm not quite sure that these are flat, so I'm gonna modify the geometry a little bit. I'm gonna select all the points on the bottom. They're already selected, so I'm just gonna go with it. Scale by the Z by a factor of 0. That puts them all on the same Z plane. If you scale just by 0, it puts them all into the same point. Don't do that. You want to just scale by the Z by 0, and it puts them on a perfectly flat plane on the Z plane. Do the same thing with this side. Scale by 0. Yeah, you could clearly see that something got straightened out there. However, they're not quite to the floor now. This one's a little too low. That one's a little too high. How do we get it so that they're exactly? Well, press N to open up the panel. And in edit mode, at the top here, you have the median of all the points. Remember, we scaled them all by Z, so all their Z's are the same, so the median is going to be the same for all of them. But if you don't feel good about that, just click on 1. Notice the Z didn't change. Didn't change. These Z points here at the bottom are at 0.12263. So exit out and press G to move along the Z by negative 0. What was the number? 12263? I think. Nope, I messed that up. Well, that's alright, I'll just do it by this one. 0.11036. GZ negative 0.11036. I'm typing that number in, and now they're off by 0.00004, which I say is close enough. I'll just grab these guys and put them to 0. Now technically I'm modifying the mesh a little bit, and maybe I shouldn't do that, but really I'm modifying it by less than the width of a layer, so really it's going to clean it up. It's not any big deal. These points are 0.14561. Will I be able to remember that? Negative Z, or G, Z, negative. I've already forgotten. 0.14561. Okay. See, negative 0.14561. Was it? Close enough. 0 them off. And now I have 2 points, or two of them. Again, in the original one, these had names. They weren't identical. I could just grab one of them and do it twice with this one. But in the example, the reason why I was doing this, I took the names off because I didn't want to invade on anybody's privacy. They were different, and so I had to keep them different. So there we go. That's how I separated. And now I can grab them both and export as an STL and print it on my 3D printer. So this covered, paying attention to your rotation and being able to control that. This covered separating by selected points. This covered moving by a controlled amount from the control panel here. So I hope that this will help somebody, and this has done you some good and you've learned a trick or two. Thank you very much for watching.